Welcome, wel- welcome to today's session of crypto market live analysis with Nolan. And in this particular session, we'll be discussing what is generally happening in the crypto market. And of course, it's been a crazy fall all this while. Seeing Bitcoin crash from $65,000 down to $30,000 within a matter of weeks. Now the question um, was that actually the top? Was $65,000 actually the top in the crypto market? And then is $30,000 the bottom right now? So I did a check run on the overall market to get to understand what people are majorly talking right now in the crypto market. Then I get to find out that the major questions people do ask right now, when right now Bitcoin is around 37,000, is was 65,000 the top? And then we always have another question: is 30,000 the bottom? So checking on those questions, well, it's kind of like very reasonable to call 65K the top. But then checking on the macro scale, Bitcoin has been on this steady run since we initiated the bull run around 13,500, which was late September 2020. And ever since then, we've been on this steady rally, so without having any significant correction until we get to meet 65,000, which was actually a very huge fib extension level that rejected the price. So normally, after price get to meet a very significant resistance, price get to come down and then consolidate for a while, which is something we've not actually done ever since we started this rally. Like if you check on the chart, if you check with me, or if you check the chart with me, you're going to see that ever since we started this run, we've actually not had any sort of significant correction so far. So seeing Bitcoin actually maintaining $30,000 level after rejecting from $65,000 is actually very healthy for the market. And then that gets to put us on a range that when you look at it, you just know that the overall market is kind of like healthy, but then we are in this kind of like accumulation phase. Yes, of course, I will call this an accumulation phase in the market. You don't expect the market to go up only. At some point, the market always have this level where it gets to come down and accumulate for a while. That's something generally healthy for the market. So right now, Bitcoin trading at $37,000. Well, very good enough. But then, where are we actually going to from here? Of course, there is panic in the market. You all should be panicking because seeing an approximately $16,000 fall within a week. That calls for a panic. But then, here is what's happening in the market. Seeing us range, currently we are ranging within the 1.618 Fibonacci extension level, which is currently sitting at the $30,000 level. And then we have the top of the range at 2.618 Fibonacci extension level, which is currently at 46,500 level. So for the moment, Bitcoin is still within range. We've not yet really seen any sort of signs that would get to trigger further panic in the market. So far so good. Bitcoin is still kind of like healthy. I would say that this is the point where we accumulate, where we consolidate for a while. Yes, we'll consolidate for a while before any sort of bullish rally from here. So Bitcoin is generally healthy. Then at what point will the bubble get to burst? Because that's as well something that people get to ask me. I always get these questions where people always ask me, are we ever going past $5,000, or do you think that $30,000 is the bottom? Well, looking at the range we have, you see that ever since we started this bull run, Bitcoin has been moving on a multi-$1,000 move, which of course, seeing it come back here again is kind of like good enough. And when looking at it, you see that January, when we first had this crazy run up to $45,000, we rejected there and then still find ourselves coming back to $30,000, which now that was our first support. That was the first point where you get to come very crucial support line in the overall crypto market, which of course then after that we now had another push of $5,000, then having a second crash which happened a few weeks ago and still bringing us back to $30,000, which is currently the 1.618 Fibonacci extension level. Is something like good enough for the market that doesn't normally won't need you to call for a panic. Bitcoin generally is healthy, and there's nothing there for you to panic. So while Bitcoin is still on this range, $46,000 and $30,000, normally there shouldn't be. This is not the point where you panic. This is the point where you just relax and wait for the market to consolidate and accumulate for a while. Of course, $30,000 is critical level, which as well matches with the Bitcoin the total crypto market cap. Briefly, let's go to the crypto market cap. So you see the confidence is at $30,000, which make it a very crucial support for the crypto market. $30,000 on the crypto market cap, that's sitting around the $1.1 trillion dollar market cap. Now, here's the big question: is Bitcoin ever going below $1.1 trillion? Now, think about it. Over the past few months, we've been seeing lots of developments across the crypto space. We've been seeing lots of developments on the Binance Smart Chain. We've seen lots of developments on Polkadot, NFTs, DeFi. We have seen the bubble is still there. The bubble is not yet busted on this platform. So that's the big question right now. The big question is, are we ever at some point going to go below $1 trillion? So are we ever at some point going to go below the $1 trillion? Well, looking at it, why asking yourself that question, which if you should check technically, going below $1.1 trillion gets like kind of validates coming below mid 500 billion market cap. Is the crypto market generally ready for that? Are we kind of like ready to go below 1.1 trillion? So let's go briefly to the Bitcoin. Let's check the overall market cap. Let's check the overall crypto market cap. So like I was saying, that there are lots of conflict, $30,000 level, that make it kind of like a very crucial support that we will maintain for a while we see very nice consolidation in the market, sort of accumulation before any further continuation. All right, then here we have the Bitcoin the total crypto market cap. Now, like I was saying, that $30,000 is a very crucial support, which as well, if you get to check on the Bitcoin, if you get to check on the total crypto market cap, that's still in line with the $1.1 trillion market cap. Remember, I said you just always get to ask yourself this question: if we ever going to go below 1 trillion, checking on the developments we are having on the overall blockchain ecosystem. Now, $1.1 trillion still on the total market cap is still that same point that Bitcoin is maintaining at the $30,000 level, where we have the 1.618 Fibonacci extension level, which was technically our target the moment Bitcoin went above $20,000, the previous 2017 all-time high. So, seeing the market lose about $1 trillion and still finding support at 1.1 trillion is kind of like still good enough. At this, if like it's still kind of good enough, it's still very good enough for the market. And as well, when you look at this chart, you're gonna see that was an obvious sell. So when you see an obvious sell, when there is an obvious sell in the market, this is on a macro scale. This is on a macro scale. The market doesn't just get a bounce off it. The market gets to accumulate for a while. You see the ranges. The ranges are huge. We have the top of the range at 1.8, and then the bottom of the range at 1.1. Of course, the total crypto market cap can always get to stay here for a while, range within here for a while before any sort of continuation. Bitcoin is generally, the crypto market is at this phase where we'll rest for a while. All right, we'll rest for a while before any sort of before any sort of rally to the upside. So that still takes us back to the question which I normally get on a daily: what are the chances of breaking $30,000? Briefly, we're going to check out the Bitcoin dominance chart. All right, let's check on the Bitcoin dominance chart to really get to understand the reasons why $30,000 is kind of like a very crucial support for the entire crypto market, which generally looking at it is kind of like okay, let's check on the good. This is the crypto, this is the Bitcoin dominance. So looking at this chart, you get to understand that ever since Bitcoin, you've seen that the dominance, the Bitcoin dominance has been on a steady decline ever since you kind of like peaked at that $5,000 level. But then here's the big question, which brought me here. are we going below $30,000? So if you check on this price, you get to understand that right here, it's the blue line territory. There are a tick kind of like good. It shows that for now we've met a bottom, which is in line with our 2017 bottom. So which still looking at this, it kind of like tells you that the Bitcoin dominance, that the Bitcoin dominance has met a crucial support, and it's more likely going to see a reversal from here. So that's actually sitting at the 40 points, which the bottom of the line is at 35 points. So you can see that here is kind of like, this is obvious. This is obviously the bottom. So what normally happens when we see something like this is the market generally gets to relax. It gets to consolidate for a while we kind of like solidify the bottom. Then here is where the bubble burst. The bubble burst immediately. Like that's when the media generally is scam, which of course I remember 2017 when we had a blow off top of 2017, the media carried the news that the whole crypto bubble has busted. So I think that similar thing is going to happen the moment we get to lose this crucial support line, because right now maintaining it is kind of like very important to the market. And looking at the chart, it's kind of like very obvious that we're not ready for that. All right, we're not ready for that. So this is the bottoming pattern already on the Bitcoin dominance chart, and anything from here is we just have to range for a while, perhaps retest our previous lows, and before any sort of further continuation. Typically testing low the first time Bitcoin put an all-time high at $20,000. All right, also looking with a mere volume analysis on this, you can see that the moment Bitcoin came to 35 points on the dominance, we really had a very huge buy volume coming in the market, which kind of like still tells you that at that particular point Bitcoin came to 30 points on the dominance. That was the moment Bitcoin went to $30,000. All right, which now when you look at the dominance, you see that at that particular point we had a huge buys in the market. We had a very huge buy in the market, which kind of like tells you that people, buyers, retail traders, institutional investors are kind of like interested in the market. They bought, they did basically at that particular point. And we're looking at that candle, we're looking at that huge volume, huge spike in volume at that particular point. We came to that price. I still kind of like tells you, get to tell you that $30,000